So the experiment continues, right? We try stuff, we see how it goes. Sometimes it goes smooth, sometimes it doesn't, and we figure it out and we press forward. I don't know if the Zoom folks missed our thought for the day, but Paul shared with us his perspective on perspective, and that was nice. So. Where we're at, we have Bob Tucknott in the house here. Haven't seen Bob in a long time, so for all you Zoomers, in case you missed that, Bob's back. Can you help us out? Any guests or visiting Rotarians on Zoom today?
Yes, we have a guest.
Is David still on? Dave?
Can you hear me, Ken?
Yes, we can hear you.
Dave left. He sent a chat message.
Oh, we had a guest. His name was Dave Witz. Carolyn? Pardon? Witz?
Lost him, huh?
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Dave Witz visited us for the first time and we chatted about Rotary, and we're hoping that he'll come back and join us again.
All right. Excellent. Any other guests? No?
Narayan's on too.
Oh, great. Narayan, you're out there. Welcome back. So next up on the schedule, Tammy Souza. Is Tammy on Zoom with us today? Tammy, are you able to give us a new member talk?
Hello, yes, I'm here, President Ken. Can you hear me?
We can. Welcome,
Good.
Tammy.
Welcome. Hello, everybody. My name is Tammy Souza. I've been in the Livermore Rotary about 2 months now. I'm actually a transfer from the Niles Rotary Club in Vermont, where I joined in 2013. Are you hearing me okay?
Yep.
Yes, we are.
Okay. I was a secretary for Niles Rotary for 6 years. I also taught the club members club runner. I did the billings and the attendance for the club. I moved to Livermore from Fremont in 2014 when I bought a home. And I decided to transfer to try to meet some local community members to join in. I was born and raised here in Fremont. I still work in Fremont, but I'm trying to build a community in Livermore.
Welcome.
Well, Tammy, welcome.
Thank
I know
you.
these have been challenging times, certainly with COVID and, us figuring out hybrid and stuff. So we appreciate your patience and persistence with us and look forward to being able to meet you in person sometime.
Yes, I'm looking forward to joining in a meeting and seeing you all very soon.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. So time for some announcements. First up, I've got Mr. McMenamin. Are you out there on Zoom? Pat McMenamin. Pat McMenamin, are you out?
Is this better?
Yes, there you are.
Great. Thank you, President Ken, and thank you for your support and recommendations as we've been reviewing our club's use of Rotary Foundation recognition points. Is this coming through okay?
Yes. Yes.
Good. So beginning in April of this year, Galad Memula, Norm Bregman, and I reviewed various ways our club would benefit from the use of foundation recognition points. And in the coming weeks, we plan to share with you ways our club would benefit from the use of foundation recognition points. Yesterday, David Rounds sent a packet of information about foundation recognition points to club members. And the packet includes a Rotary Foundation publication titled Understanding Foundation Recognition Points. So foundation recognition points are awarded to Rotarian donors who make contributions to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund or Polio Plus Fund. And what I'm going to say next will come as a surprise to all of you, I think. The cumulative foundation recognition points from Rotarian donors in our club is estimated to be about 500,000 points. So that's the resource we have to look at. And I'd now like to invite Gowd, I think Gowd first, and then Norm to say a few words.
Actually, I think it's a Norm, and then I was doing the recommendation. So would Norm continue with item 2?
That's good. I can do that in a minute, yeah. I call this the gift that keeps on giving. Donors who have foundation recognition points have to give a minimum of 100 points to match any pledge that a Rotarian makes on the way towards Paul Harris Fellow, additional pins. So this was with great insight that they formed that. So I'm going to leave that as a teaser and hand it over to Gowd to stay within my minute.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, President Ken and Rotarians. I'm going to continue with recommendations we came up with. And the idea of using foundation recognition points in our club to match the donation of Rotarians to reach Paul Harris Fellow status is not new. It has been used recently, few times that I know. What is new about our recommendations is that it makes the process of using the foundation recognition points more transparent and encourages all the Rotarians with the points to participate. So anyone willing to donate their foundation recognition points should contact Club Rotary Foundation Chair Patrick. Okay, using foundation recognition points of Rotarians to recognize the outstanding service in the community who are the volunteers, we believe is an excellent use of the foundation recognition points. And it will provide a lot of goodwill to our club and further motivate people to do more service. So therefore, we recommend the board to establish a committee to select the candidates after reviewing different people and recommend for approval by the board to receive Paul Harris Fellow Service Award recognition. Okay, that is our recommendations. And I hope if you have any question, you can send us an email or something. So we'll be glad to answer. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen. So I'm the president of the club, and this was news to me, right? I didn't understand how the foundation recognition points work. These guys did a bunch of research, brought me up to speed. It's a great resource that we have to use to help people get used to contributing to the foundation and stuff. So Gowd, Norm, and Pat, really appreciate your help, helping me understand this better and helping all of us understand this better and how we might better utilize that resource. So thank you. So next up on the agenda, I've got Bob Cowan. Bob, you still looking for some help with the READY program?
Well, our READY volunteers increased by 1 yesterday by my playing golf with Poppy Ridge. So, but we're still looking for folks. Our first meeting is Monday at 2:45. It'll be by Google Meet. Lori has 16 students lined up, and please contact me if you can help out.
Thank you, Bob. So Kathy Coyle, Avenues of Service. What's going on?
Ken, this is Pat. I'm going to call Kathy in here. She's having a little bit of technical difficulty. There's about 5,000 of us out without PG&E power, but let me get her in here and she can speak to this. Here she comes.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
She's coming.
Christian, would you be willing to give us an update on everything going on in community service?
All right, first of all, I would love to share this humongous poster. I have no idea how I got it into a picture and sent it to him. That is from Maryland Avenue School. You know, all the teachers for thanking us, really amazing. So they also wrote a very great letter where they made some requests also and give us a tax ID if you want to make a donation that's tax deductible to the school. So I can read that later. More importantly, sorry, the Zoom, did they hear me at all? The Zoom people? Okay, good.
Yes.
Oh, I was loud enough. Okay, I'm gonna speak in there so you can hear me. I'm hoping that people are signing up for September 25th for the Kids Against Hunger event. I haven't gotten any email from anybody, so I'm getting worried. But now we got about 61 people signed up throughout the clubs, not our club, but I need to know the head count. Now, the goal initially was for the food, was to have one truck, like a taco truck, cater for everybody, all the clubs. Now, talking with Ken, and from their meeting, unfortunately, none of the clubs are willing to pony out some funds to fund the taco truck because that would be a 6-hour time frame and we could eat a lot of food and eat ourselves into debt. So they don't want to do that. So what we're thinking is, I signed up for the 9 o'clock hour. There is a 9 o'clock, 9 to 10:30, 11 o'clock, and 1 p.m. It's 1.5 hour time frame, time slots. You can sign up. We are thinking that let's take care of our club members. If you guys, I'm going to change mine, and I'm going to let you guys know how I changed it from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. But many of you I know want to sleep in if you're retired, I'm sure. Not everybody, of course. So that way we can have 11 o'clock, everybody be there, and I'm going to be there. What I'm thinking is I'm going to have, oh, by the way, the building is too hot inside. You cannot eat inside. You have to wear your masks while you're inside serving. You know, yeah, but if you want to eat, you got to go outside to eat. So my plan is to bring my SUV and hopefully pack some lunch. I can bring some sandwiches, snacks, and water and beer. I'm going to bring beer. You know, yes. And I'm going to make sure it's ice cold. I'll make sure it's ice cold. So they're going to be in my car. It will be hot. There's no air conditioner there, but it will be under ice. So we can go out and eat. So if you guys could please sign up at 11. I sent a very elaborate email. If you didn't get it, let me know. I'll forward it again. Okay, I'll send it again. You know, yeah, please. Just click on the link. The link are ready for you. If you can please click on the 11 o'clock hour so we can be together so I can feed you guys and get you. Maybe I'll get reimbursed. If not, that'll be my donation. But I promise you, if you come there, you're going to have food, good food. You're going to eat. You're going to drink beer, whatever you want. But please, please sign up. Okay? The address again, we're going to send out 1258 Quarry Lane, Pleasanton. Email me at Christian at my website. That's it.
Christian,
so Christian at chumafinancial.com, yes.
Other than eating and drinking beer, what actually are we happening? What's happening?
Oh, basically, sorry, I want to talk.
So Kids Against Hunger is an organization that packs up nutritious meals that they distribute to low-income families. Their goal for this event is to package 50,000 packets of food. It is an assembly line situation, right? Everybody, you're doing the packing. This is assembly line, baby. You put $20 in is basically your financial contribution. That $20 pays for all of the food that goes into that kit. And then it's assembly line. We're in masks. It's a food environment. You're putting together food. Hour and a half assembly line, packing up these meals, packing up these meals, packing up these meals. They think with 150 people, if they can get 150 people from all of the clubs in the Tri-Valley to do these 3 sessions, again, they can pack up 50,000 meals, right, to go to low-income kids. So should be fun. Some of the other clubs in the area have done this several times, and it sounds like it's a blast. So, and Christian, man, he's all over the food, right? So you're going to come, you're going to pack food up for people that are hungry, and have a good time, and get to hang out with other Rotarians. So it should be a good time. I got questions here.
Can you tell us quickly where all this food is going and how it's getting there?
So historically, they have distributed these kits around the world, right? So Africa, Asia, wherever people are hungry. Unfortunately, during COVID, there was a lot of demand actually generated here in the United States. With the natural disasters that we've been having, hurricanes, fires, there's a lot of people right here in the United States. So the answer is, we don't know exactly where this food is going. The kits that we pack up could be distributed here in the United States. They could be sent overseas. We don't know. Any other questions about that?
By the way, if you go to their website, you'll be very, very, very impressed. It's KAH, Kids Against Hunger, KAH, BayArea.org. KAHBayArea.org. More importantly, you have to register. You just cannot show up on that address. They won't let you in. You must click on that link. Please click on the 11 o'clock hour. Let me know. I need to know the head count to know what amount of food to bring. And if you guys can pack the room, I really appreciate that. You guys have done so much for me in the past, and I'm counting on you. I'm surprised I haven't received any single email yet. So I don't know. What's up, club?
Thank you. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Christian. Yeah, so I encourage everybody to take a look at that. We'll get that email out again, so everybody has links to sign up and register and all of the information, if that's something that sounds like you would like to participate. I'm just going to jump in, take over for Kathy here. So basically, Kathy wanted to let everybody know about the upcoming Avenues of Service event. This is Saturday, October 2nd. It's going to be in our backyard, practically, here out at the Alameda County Fairgrounds. And this is a great opportunity for clubs throughout the district to showcase the projects that they're doing, global grant projects, basically all the good stuff that Rotarians are doing. So it's an opportunity for our club to share some of the cool things we're doing with other clubs and to get ideas from other clubs on what they're doing. We have a board meeting tomorrow to discuss, maybe subsidizing registration. The registration fees are $50 per person. I'm going to see if I can squeeze a little money out of the board to help offset some of those expenses if you're interested in attending Avenues of Service. So I encourage you to contact Kathy and let her know if you've got any questions. And yeah, let us know. So at this point, Splin, are you out there? Would you be willing to introduce, or I guess tee up our speaker for next week and introduce our speaker today?
All right. Yes. So actually, Pat Coyle was going to do this because he's the one who gave us the idea of bringing Goodness Village. If you recall, about a year and a half ago, we had, I can't remember his name, it was a pastor from Castro Valley that introduced the subject, and the county and the city of Livermore really embraced the idea of creating a homeless village. It's over by the outlets, and the executive director of the nonprofit that runs Goodness Village will be with us next week.
Fantastic.
All right, should I jump into Ian?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time talking about Ian, but he's a dear friend, and we've known each other for several years, and he runs just a wonderful business that well, let me just say, he runs a wonderful business. I'll let him tell us about it. So please let me introduce Ian McLean. And Ian, if I can just start off with just asking you a couple of questions. Can you, it's so happy to see you, and it's so nice that you took time from your busy schedule, because I know your world headquarters they're located in Silicon Valley, aren't they?
Nope.
Oh, that's right. No, you moved to Shanghai, right?
Nope.
No, you're in Germany. I know you must be based in Germany.
No.
Oh, then, well, can you tell us a little bit about where your world headquarters are located?
Our worldwide headquarters is right in Livermore.
All right, go ahead. Thanks, Ian.
So, good afternoon. My name is Ian McLean, and my company's name is Thermal Press International. I'd like to thank Splend and everybody for inviting me here today to share my story and the story of Thermal Press and how it relates to Livermore. This is my first Rotary meeting, and I've always kind of been curious what it's all about. My recently retired CPA was Ken McCartney, who I believe everybody knows is a past member and president of your chapter here in Livermore. When Splend approached me about whether I would have an interest in talking about my company and how it's related to Livermore, I first thought, why Thermal Press? Why my company? Then Splend provided me with a list of questions and topics, all of which related to how Thermal Press and Livermore came to be partners. And after reading the questions, I realized there is a proud story to be told for each of the two parties. In fact, many of the questions are the same ones that I profess to have answers to when I'm talking to a new recruit. Splend also was kind enough to say by speaking today, I'd have the option of vacationing at one of his several vacation properties. I ran the idea by my wife, and she said yes, but why one? So we'll talk about that later. Thermal Press International was started back in 1976 by my uncle. It was originally named Young Technology, and we were in Santa Clara and then later in Fremont. Its main product was to perform secondary services to the plastics industry. We would do drilling and gluing and general assembly for companies called, some of these are gone now, Memorex, Atari, Sun Microsystems. And throughout the 80s, a product was developed that we called a thermal press machine. And quite simply, it applies heat and pressure to any plastic that you would place inside. And it's kind of like a fancy soldering iron of sorts, and it just melts plastic, welds them together. So I worked off and on for my uncle during those early years. And in 1990, I came to work for full time, and it was soon decided to make the thermal press machine a machine that we would sell, all around the world, or just to other organizations like us. So when that business model shifted to not just be providing services, but to sell an actual product, we started attending trade shows and enlisted some sales reps in geographical areas throughout the United States. We never sold a great number of the thermal press machines through the 90s, but it did help the income quite a bit, and just kind of gave us a different position in the plastics industry. In 2002, we, like many other companies in Silicon Valley, were struggling to compete in the electronics assembly business. Much of the work was being sent offshore to China and Mexico. So it was in that year that we decided to move the thermal press assembly, the building of these machines, to a more economical location and sell the contract manufacturing side of the business. So we got rid of all of the assembly processes, and we restructured the name of the company to be Thermal Press International, so it would better brand our product. So in 2002, hello, Livermore. This is a city that I had only known really from the rodeo guy along the freeway that I would see in June. I think I got off the freeway for gas or shopping for a car, maybe a belt buckle. That was kind of about it. I always, I lived in Castro Valley since 1990 and just always commuted the other direction. So didn't have a chance to get to know Livermore very well. But there were several key elements, which I think is important that everybody realizes, at least from a business owner standpoint, when wanting to move to Livermore or stay. That I would share. The reasons why we moved here, they still exist today. And I'm a pretty big advocate of having a business in Livermore. I've mentioned it to several people who have been considering moving. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing because I don't receive any commission. And if anything, it makes the wait in line to get a table at dinner maybe a little bit longer. So I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. The following are the key items. Firstly, we had a choice of maybe about 20 key locations that we could have moved our manufacturing business to here in the Bay Area. And we felt that Livermore had the best value per square feet for any industrial space. And I still feel that to be true today. A second key reason for moving here is we felt that it gave us great proximity to a lot of our supply chains that we needed to maintain. We can jump on 680 South to be down in San Jose area, Silicon Valley, within 30 minutes. We can get on 580 West and be in Hayward, Oakland, partway to San Francisco in about a half hour. We can also get on 580 East, puts us out in the Central Valley, where there are some suppliers that don't even exist on this side of the hill. And actually, some of these are suppliers at a much lower rate than if we go down into Silicon Valley. So I kind of consider Livermore a little bit of a hub city. I can kind of go out in any direction for what we might need to do. It's also handy that we've got 3 airports that are pretty easy to get to. A half hour to Oakland and half hour down to San Jose and 45 minutes to San Francisco. So flying in and out with customers or suppliers, it's still very, very, very handy. A third item that was important to us is attracting employees. We noticed a lot of people don't like to commute all the way from the Central Valley into Silicon Valley or to Fremont, Hayward. So Livermore's a halfway point. You come over that hill, go down the Altamont, and they're right at work, and getting home, half the distance as well. If we wanted to pick up any employees from Silicon Valley or Oakland, Hayward area, they're driving counter commute. That's what I did for the past 20 years until just last month when moving to the Sunol area. So some people are wanting to pick a location to work based on travel. So that was a huge advantage. But since the time of our move, I've seen, Livermore flourish in a lot of different ways. I'm here every day. I spend more hours in Livermore than I do in my hometown. The downtown has become very trendy. There's great places to hang out and eat. This makes it a really nice place for our customers to go grab something to eat during lunch or in the evenings if they're staying for several days. I also feel that it's very clean and safe compared to almost any other industrial area that I've experienced here in the Bay Area. I'm not concerned as a business owner that either my employees or my property is going to be hurt, damaged, or vandalized. It's really just, I feel like the industrial area is kind of, right in the middle of I guess kind of residential. It's right next door, actually. I've also recently read that 60% of the Tri-Valley residents have bachelor degrees or higher, and that's compared to 46% of the Bay Area as a whole. So this does help with local recruitment because I do need engineers. I need machinists and assembly people, and having to not have them travel too far just does help strengthen retaining and hiring good employees. So let's say I feel I think there's just about every amenity that we need has finally made it here to Livermore. I think short of having a full-fledged airport, there's really nothing that I think somebody personally or business-wise needs to go outside of this area to get unless they want. So it's been kind of cool watching that develop over 20 years. If I had to be critical of Livermore in any way from a business standpoint or personally, it's probably the heat. That's one I think everybody's well aware of. Luckily, we work indoors all day long, so it's really just coming and going for lunch that is the only inconvenience. A little bit of some history on my company. In 2005, I began the process of buying out my uncle who had started this company. He had had enough. He was, done with this, didn't want to work, just wanted out. And during a couple previous years, we had some differences on, what direction we should be headed, and what it was going to take to get us there. The company was still struggling to establish itself as a significant industrial equipment manufacturer. The times were still tough in the early 2000s, and we're trying to compete, and still are, with equipment manufacturers that are mainly in the Midwest, maybe the Southeast. Their overhead is just a fraction of what ours is here in California. So that's probably been one of our number one struggles to be in California, period. But I'm born and raised here in the Bay Area and don't have any interest in moving out. So I was determined to find a way to make this work. And at the time that I began buying my uncle out, we only had about 4,000 square feet. There were 5 of us working here, and we made about 1 million in sales. Small company. By 2009, just 4 years later, I completed the buyout, and it was full speed ahead. I identified some key areas of business that I wanted to focus on, and I now have the freedom to pursue that unencumbered. Partnerships can just be very, very difficult. At that time, I felt we had a great product, a great team, a great vision, and a great place, being in Livermore, to get this done. So we fast forward to today, 2021, this current year. We now reside in 10,000 square feet. Thermal Press has 25 employees, and this year we'll come close to doing 10 million in sales around the world. And I believe all those great things is what it was that led us to pull this off. We're not done. I'm currently looking for a larger facility even. I'd like to get up to about 15,000 square feet. And I'm pretty determined to stay right here in Livermore, versus moving anywhere else. If we've got to do some work outside in tents over the wintertime, I'm prepared to buy mittens and scarves, for the assembly, and obviously I'll keep the administrative duties inside. The growth that we've realized over the last 10 years has been kind of meticulously laid, I would say. The main ingredient that I had discovered was to create a pseudo partnership with medical device companies by offering free or nearly free research and development services. No one else was offering this. What I found is that if Thermal Press helped a company develop their plastic assembly process using our machines, they would invariably end up purchasing our equipment for all future manufacturing and expansion. There was never a guarantee from them, nor a promise or an agreement, nothing like that whatsoever. But what it was kind of a force behind the scenes. Their name is the FDA. Everybody's very familiar with them this past year. Getting approvals are normally not nearly as fast as what you've heard this year with vaccines. By what I found is that by the time the customer received their FDA clearance and were ready to go into any level of manufacturing, they were no longer, without a major amount of work, able to change their materials, their process, nor the machines that they used. So they were, pretty much beholden to using our equipment. Because of that, they set up their factories and expanded using our equipment. It would probably cost them 100 times more money to repeat the process and try and go with a cheaper machine. And how I learned of this is kind of unusual. I had a customer in my office, and I think it was 2008, and he was a little bit loose-lipped. And what he said to me is, he said, Ian, after I submit for FDA approvals, you could charge me 10 times your regular price, and your competitor could offer me their machines for free, and it would still be cheaper to buy from you. And I thought, wow, how can I leverage this in a morally correct manner? And my decision was to just carry on, maintain standard pricing with each customer. And I realized that, karma was probably a much better strategy than greed. And that would keep me plenty happy. As it turns out, a lot of these customers over the years, I think, have realized through talking to them and how they're treated by other companies that supply to them in the medical industry, that they feel trapped. They have no options. They have to give in. They have to pay the prices. They have to deal with whatever that supplier tells them, because the being able to switch over to somebody else is just too expensive. They might lose all their market share and ground. So we just decided to just maintain the way we behave and our current pricing. I believe a lot of our suppliers have realized that. And then when an engineer or a project manager leaves a company to another startup or another company, they remember this. And I think they come right back to us. This goes over and over again. We're a customer I don't even think goes out and quotes the other people. They come right, back into our laps. If this comes down to just having good karma, I think it's proven it just recently this last year. Because 3 years ago, it just so happened that we started supplying equipment to various companies around the world to make bioreactor bags. Now, if everybody's not familiar with what a bioreactor bag is, because it was not a big deal at the time 3 years ago, it was just another machine and another product that a couple companies wanted to have us help provide. But these bags are used for manufacturing vaccines. So the more vaccine you need, the more thermal presses you need to buy. So go figure. I think that's how we're getting paid out. So I appreciate everybody listening to my story here and how it relates to Livermore. To sum up my talk today, I want to circle back to what I feel is a very instrumental piece in Thermal Press's growth and success. Sure, we had a great vision, we have great people, and we have a great product. Those are like having great tools in a toolbox. But that toolbox does you no good if you don't place it in a location that is handy for all to use. For Thermal Press, that location is here in Livermore. So that kind of concludes my spiel. Hopefully it is what Splend and the Rotary was looking for what company like us is doing in Livermore and why we're here.
Great.
Right. Ian, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. Always nice to hear how people enjoy this great community. So Splend, I'm thinking you might have a question for Ian.
Yeah. Yes, I do, Ken. Yeah, because I know, Ian sounds very busy as CEO, but you know what? I know he has another interest. Ian, can you spend a couple of minutes and just tell us a little bit about your second job?
Oh, my second job. Well, I guess you could say I run a nonprofit. And what that nonprofit is I own racehorses. And I pursue, as you can see in the background here, that's where I eventually want to make it to is Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby. But the second business that I run is McLean Racing Stables, and it's a passion I've had all the way back to I don't know, as being a kid watching the horse races, and cut in high school to go to the racetrack, and so finally. With actually, ironically, when I completed the buyout from my uncle in 2009, I decided to just take the monthly money that I was paying him during the buyout and just start spending that on horses. I felt that's the closest thing to calling it free, right? So I've got quite a few horses now. They race all around the country, mainly right here in the Bay Area. But just real quickly, I had a dear friend in high school, and this is what I love about having success in a business is when you can actually go outside of your business, do some type of or be able to afford a really cool event or donation or make somebody else's dreams that might be unreachable come true. I had a friend in high school that we used to cut class, go to the track. His name was Darren Dent, and we called him Hoodie. And he came down with ALS about 10 years ago, actually probably 12 now. And he lived for 10 years with ALS. And I got involved with ALS community. I got to know a lot of the different people and different events that they have. And I felt it would be really cool if he and I were partners on a horse. So I went and bought a horse. I named the horse Running for Hoodie. He got an owner's license. And during this period of time, for the last 5 years leading up to that, Darren could not speak, talk, eat. He's wheelchair bound, a breathing tube, a feeding tube, could only communicate blinking his eyes with some yes and no's. And we made this a journey over about a year and a half, almost 2 years. We won our very first race together as a partner. We threw some big parties with the ALS group at the racetracks. We traveled down to Southern California for a couple of big races down there. And we got national attention. We were even on Fox Sports with an interview. We got written up in some magazines. If you ever Google Running for Hoodie, there's some stories you'll find on Google and some speeches that I've given. But I've never been more proud of the experience that provided to me. And I thank Thermal Press for affording me the opportunity to put something like that together. And it's a little bit ironic because just in the past week, the name has come up. The horse has been retired for about 5 years. The name has come up a couple of times, and I just realized that she's in foal to a baby this year, and she's showing up in an auction down in Southern California in 2 weeks. So I don't know if that's a sign, but I might have a Running for a Hoodie 2 coming around in the future.
All right, Ian, it just resonates with me. I don't know if Splend shared with you, but here at Rotary, our motto is service above self. And that story really kind of echoes that. So it sounds like you're a busy guy, but if you've got bandwidth in the future, we certainly welcome you to come back and hang with us and get to know Rotary a little bit better. So,
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the invitation, and I'm going to be checking my calendar.
All right, thank you. So we've got any questions for Ian here? We got a question for you if you got another minute.
Sure, I got plenty of time. What you got?
Ian, great talk. Thank you very much. And also, I'd like to thank you as somebody who believes strongly that a manufacturing base still remains very, very crucially important to the United States economy. I'd like to thank you for not bailing on manufacturing in the U.S. and staying in Livermore to do it. So kudos to you. The question I had is, have you and your company had any particular challenges with plastics or other polymers that are used for tissue compatibility issues? You mentioned medical products has been a big growth area for you. Any particular challenges?
Yeah, we build a lot of equipment for medical device wearables, a lot of insulin pumps, a lot of these patches that transdermal drug delivery systems, Medtronic, Insulet, they're all big in that. And, we've done a few implantables. We've done some work for some of the companies that'll put the stents, behind the ear and the head for stroke victims. And so those plastics have to, be okay to be implanted. To be honest with you, in the medical industry, people are so secretive about what they are doing. A lot of the work that we do, we're never even told what the plastic is that we are working with, nor what some of the ingredients are. We just have to ask for some paperwork that tells us that it's not of danger for us to be melting it and breathing any fumes. But with all the NDAs, all they really tell us is to find out whether the plastic needs to be hotter or colder to melt and to be joined. And sometimes that's all the more we're told.
Crazy. So I can't see from here. Splend, could you take over? Are there any questions on the Zoom side? Any questions for Ian in the Zoom audience?
Yeah, Sherry Sheets asked a question. What percentage of the time does your free R&D result in a product placement?
Oh, I would say it's very high. It's probably in the 70 to 80 percentile. I mean, we vet out what we are going to engage in up front pretty thoroughly before we start doing it. There are some cases where we will charge if it's going to be a very, very detailed R&D project, but for the most part, we turn down more work than we accept. And so therefore we can hit on that, 60, 70, 80% success. It may only be just one machine, but that gentleman that I spoke to a little while back that told me in his office, he told me he didn't think that company was really going to make it back in 2008. They're our biggest customer, and they've probably, that first machine was $30,000-$40,000. That's what the gamble was to make everything work. And I think they've bought in excess of about $5 million worth of equipment since then.
Nice return on that investment.
Yes, I'll do that again.
All right. Well, Ian, we've hit our time today. I want to thank you for sharing your time with us and joining us here at the Rotary Club of Livermore today. And I want to thank all of you for attending either in person or via Zoom. And I want to wish you all a good day. Go out, be kind, and be safe. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Ian. Great talk.
Great.
Nice to know you're in the neighborhood.
Yes, right around the corner.
Great job, Ian.
Thanks, Glenn.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Ken, if you're still hearing us, you need to hear Susan's comment. Thanks for keeping your cool. I think they're off. So they're not hearing us at the community center anymore. Thanks for everybody for coming back as we had to work through those glitches. I think Jeff or Pat will be hosting next week.
It certainly was far better than last week, guys.
Oh, was it? Okay.
You could hear beautifully and see beautifully, other than the, crashing once, but other than that, it was really good.
Okay, good. I will make sure that Alan and crew know that. Good. I missed it last week, so good to see you, Ed.
Okay, good to see you.
Okay, bye,
Good day.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Coach checking out.